everyone, welcome today to my talk, virtually I guess. I'm Kate, I'm the head of user experience at Drest, and I'm here today to talk to you about styling in mixed realities. So I've been obsessed with Miya. She's a influencer based in Tokyo, and she's an artist as well. Her style is impeccable, of course, in true Instagram model style, blending, Japanese contemporary fashion with just like fantastic aesthetics and immaculate production value. Between sponsored posts, we'll have shots of her candid life, and of course, pictures of her with her gorgeous friends. Here's two of them at one of her gallery shows. Unfortunately though, none of these people are real. Miya is a virtual girl. She was created by an ad agency, and her Instagram and her whole persona blends that barrier between the real life and the digital. Between her sponsored posts where she's selling you a new Lenovo laptop, there'll be another one where she's selling NFTs. And Miya's gram is almost indistinguishable from some of ours in the real world. Well, much better looking than mine is. But it starts to raise the question of what is truly real online and how can we distinguish that? At Drest, we work on the frontier between gaming and fashion and those two industries. In our game, we have fashion directors and game designers working together to create challenges where players can show off their digital style using real-world pieces. And as part of that, you can also click through to Farfetch and purchase those pieces in the real world. In this world of Miya's, Seraphine's, another popular if controversial virtual personality, what does personal style really mean? Obviously the boundaries have blurred, but can we truly today say that if something happened online, it isn't real? In any online service or app, one of the first things that we'll do often, or you'll be prompted to do, is to change your default avatar. Of course, these are often depicted as very white male heteronormative, which is a whole other problem in its own right. But I think we as humans have an intrinsic desire to make personal the faceless digital space. And luckily, the games industry and games academia have done a lot of research into this, into avatars and self-representation. Indeed, being able to reflect who you are or who you wish you could be in the real world through your game avatar can be a massive driver of player motivations. We find that when players are connected to their avatar and feel that self-representation, they will be more engaged with your game and more likely to stay a long time. However, the flip side of this is that the way players create avatars and how they're able to represent themselves must be diverse to reflect the diversity of the human experience, even if that's to create an idealized self. Now, this becomes all the more pertinent when we start looking at and talking about the metaverse. I don't think there's anyone but Zuck who imagines a metaverse in which they are wearing a navy turtleneck till the end of time. Last summer, there was an explosion in a trend called VTubers. For those of you who haven't experienced this, VTuber stands for Virtual YouTuber. Basically, real actors and actresses who get rigged up with complex facial tracking technology and actually rigged to a model that can real-time interact with Twitch and YouTube streaming audiences. Now, these VTubers may not look like Miya, but that doesn't make their content any less entertaining or make the brand partnership deals any less appealing and lucrative. So the thing that's amazing to me about these is as soon as VTubers started coming out and becoming popular, people around the world started building cheaper and more accessible software. So nowadays, instead of needing this incredibly complex facial tracking technology, you can create your own VTuber from your own phone camera. A recent study on Gen Z's style said that Gen Z's online style is more described as surreal than real. I think it shows how willing people are to explore their digital representation and maybe not have that be very true to what they're like in the real world. Now, of course, as self-representation has become more important in the virtual world, fashion brands are of course becoming very interested. A popular one that many of you may have heard of has been the Balenciaga Fortnite collaboration. Now, this was a massive, incredibly complex operation, including, Times Square billboards, digital items in the real world, things you could buy in the Balenciaga store that would translate into items you could use in Fortnite. And the fashion press lauded this as, the next frontier of virtual fashion, which, I'm not disagreeing with. But the games press were a little bit more skeptical, and especially quite a lot of gamers were questioning, like, how does this actually relate to me? What would I want from this? How can I afford this? And I think that just shows that though there are so many possibilities here, we have to ensure that when we foray into virtual fashion, that we make sure it's relevant to the audiences that we're creating for and is truly democratized so people can feel involved within it and represented by it. I believe that no matter what technology creates, as designers, and for myself as a designer, we have to focus on the real people that we're building for. We need to allow people to explore, express, and represent themselves in these digital realities. And this must include accessibility, inclusivity, and representation at the core of it for mixed reality styling to be truly revolutionary. As for me, I'll still be following Emma. Her content and both her fashion and her art actually inspire me in the real world. And you know, maybe there actually doesn't need to be such a distinction after all. Thank you.